So a very minor four-man trade in the NHL today. It is between the Montreal Canadiens and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Joseph Blandisi and Jacob Lucchini have been traded to the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for Riley Barber and Phil Varone. So a very minor four-man trade, like I said, but there's nothing else to talk about today. So I thought I would talk about this. The only other trade that happened was between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers, but it was so small, I don't even want to talk about it unless I don't have anything else to talk about today. Then I might talk about it, who knows. Let's get right into it, starting off with Joseph Blandisi, a former 6th-round pick by the Colorado Avalanche in the 2012 draft. He's still 25 years old, a small 5'11" Canadian forward who's only getting paid $700,000, and I think the contract is one of the best things about Joseph Blandisi. He's getting paid league minimum, and he's played his fair share of games in the NHL in the prior years and this year for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He played for the Devils, he played for the Ducks, and now he's been playing with the Penguins for 2 years. He actually has 5 points in 21 games this year for the Pens with a -3 plus-minus. So there's nothing that bad about Joseph Blandisi as a fourth-line forward in the NHL. He has 14 points in 26 games for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins as well down in the AHL, a -3 plus-minus down there. In 101 total NHL games, he has 31 points, including 10 goals. So he's not a bad player. He's a good fourth-line option, sometimes scratch. But I feel like one reason why the Penguins traded him is because their injury system is getting better, and that was the only reason why Joseph Blandisi was up in the NHL playing 21 games, because he's never played that many games in the NHL before that. It was very slow stints ever since the 16-17 season when he played in 27 games. So nothing ever big for Joseph Blandisi. He's been sent down, called up on waivers so many times this year, and finally he finds a good fit with the Montreal Canadiens. Let's talk about Jacob Lucchini as well for the Montreal Canadiens now. An undrafted 24-year-old forward, so another young forward going to Montreal. He can play center or on the left side. He's another 5'11" Canadian forward, only getting paid $792,000. And he is a worse player than Joseph Blandisi. He's never played a game in the NHL, and in 53 games for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, only has 15 games. So he definitely produces less than Joseph Blandisi, but he's the smaller piece in this trade going to Montreal. It's a nice player to have, and it's, another player that can play down in Laval when you need him to. And that's kind of what the Canadiens have been doing this year, getting a lot of players to gain depth in the AHL, and who knows, maybe someday this kid can play in the NHL, and it's kind of weird that he's getting paid more than Joseph Blandisi, because Blandisi can actually play in the NHL, half of the time. So I like this trade going to the Canadiens. You're barely paying anything to get a player that can play in the NHL and another depth piece in the AHL. Now the other way, the big piece for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Phil Varone, a former 5th-round pick in the 2009 draft. So he's an older Canadian forward at 29 years old. He's getting paid $700,000 as well, so another small contract. All these players don't have big contracts. You're not expecting that in this minor trade. His first games came in the 13-14 season with the Buffalo Sabres. He went to the Senators. Then, last year, he was playing with the Flyers. He signed a contract here in Montreal in the offseason, and he has 14 points in 27 games for Laval in the AHL. A -9 plus-minus, and in 97 games in the NHL, he has 17 points. So he's not a bad player going the other way for Pittsburgh. And to be honest, I believe Joseph Blandisi is probably the better player out of these two, just because of his points per game this year, and that's kind of all that matters. It doesn't matter about years prior. It matters about this year. And also, Blandisi is 4 years younger, so that's another big piece in this trade. And also, Lucchini isn't bad either, so you're getting some good pieces if you're the Montreal Canadiens. Phil Varone is a decent player as well, so I really like him. I think he's a good return for Pittsburgh. And Riley Barber, he's probably better, arguably, than Jacob Lucchini, a right winger, a former Washington Capital, a 26-year-old American, only getting paid $700,000 at league minimum. He has played 3 NHL games in his career with the Capitals in the 16-17 season, not posting any points. so far this year, he's playing for Laval. He has 31 points in 39 games, a minus 12 plus minus, and that's really good. I really like what he's doing right now for Laval in the AHL, and I think he'll be another piece. Who knows? He might get a chance to play in like the last game of the year, something like that for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I like this trade both ways. I don't really think anyone wins this trade. It's such a minor trade, but this was the only thing to talk about today. Joseph Blandisi and Jacob Lucchini have been traded to the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for Phil Varone and Riley Barber. Let me know your thoughts on this trade in the comments down below. I really like the trade. I think it's a win-win for both teams. Some AHL and NHL players, 2 NHL players, 1 for each team, and a minor league player for each team. So a minor trade. I like it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for the support recently on the videos. It means a lot to me. And we will see you guys in the next one. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Peace.